Joining me live on the desk is Shadow Foreign Minister Michaelia, who's been briefed by the government. What do we know about these attacks? What's happening?
Well, basically, what was said today should horrify all Australians. The summer of anti-Semitism, now it's proven that Jewish Australians in this country, Andrew, in this country, were under direct attack from a foreign power that sought to do them harm. Let's be very clear. This was the Islamic Republic of Iran via the Islamic Revolutionary Guard utilising proxies so that they could disguise who they were to take action on Australian soil. They could have killed Australians. Yeah. Let's now wake up as a country. National security matters, OK? The Jewish Australians, they were under direct attack, Andrew, from an organisation that funds the terrorist group Hezbollah and funds the terrorist group Hamas. We need to wake up as a country and understand there are some regimes, the Islamic Republic of Iran, that do not hold the same views as us and seek to do us harm.
Has the government done enough, do you think?
The government obviously is going to have a lot of questions to answer in relation to this, but we have been clear. We welcome their listing of the terrorist or to become a terrorist organisation. What I have said, though, is
2 years ago,
and this is just it, right? It should have been done earlier. We have a Senate committee report in February 2023 that clearly stated, put national security, put the safety of Australians first and list these people. And the government did not.
That's a bit embarrassing, isn't it? Like, I just showed the letter to James
It's
Patterson.
Utterly horrifying. This government, though, Andrew, let's be honest, they've never taken national security seriously until they are dragged kicking and screaming
today, but you're saying
to the table. Well, let's see how quickly they turn the legislation around, because we have been very clear. We will facilitate this legislation through the Parliament.
Surely tomorrow morning this legislation's introduced and passed.
When you have got the resources that a government has, but not only that, when you have the Islamic Republic of Iran seeking to do harm to Australians, 27 million Australians should be standing up and demanding this government take the necessary action as quickly as possible.
Sure. These attacks happened before in Europe. Iran has hired Hell's Angels to conduct such attacks.
Yep.
So it's a pattern, isn't it?
Well, not only that, that is why you list something as a terrorist organisation. That is why we called for this over 2 years ago.
Partly because of those attacks?
Absolutely, but also the information we got from the Iranian community here in Australia who have fled the brutality of the Islamic Republic of Iran, have embraced our culture here in Australia. But the reason you do it is this: you send a message to the proxies on the ground.
Yeah.
If you are found to have done this, you will go to jail. That's why you do it. That's why we called for it. And whilst, yes, we welcome what the government has today announced, they should have done it 2 years ago when we called for this.
Is it just the ambassador being sent home or other diplomats? Have you been told?
That is something that you'd need to put to the government.
Is there more the government could or should do to sanction Iran?
Well, in the first instance, this is a good step, absolutely. What I would say is this, though. Given that the summer of anti-Semitism, we now know the Jewish people in Australia were under direct attack from a foreign power, the Islamic Republic of Iran, via the IRGC, they should be getting the Jewish community around a table, they love a good round table, and saying, as of tomorrow, what do we need to do to implement our own special envoy's report to us regarding anti-Semitism in this country?
Just briefly, 2 arrests in relation to Melbourne attack involve a 20 and a 21-year-old. What do you make of such young people being enlisted by a foreign government?
Just utterly disgraceful in this country. It was something that we were incredibly strong on. You need to ensure that at all times you are taking action to protect Australians, and one of those actions is ensuring that people are not placed in this position where they will do this, cause harm to Australians.
Just finally, 7 MPs have raised in the party room this issue of urgency in terms of the opposition need a net zero position, a 2035 climate target position. I reported incorrectly, you spoke in relation to this. But I do wonder what your view is. And have you spoken to Susan Lee about your personal wish to come up with a position sooner rather than later?
Look, can I say in the first instance, Good on Susan for allowing us to go through this process is important. But I have been very clear. When the Western Australian Liberal Party passed our motion in relation to net zero, the Australian people come first. Under Mr Albanese, he is literally breaking their banks. Mr Albanese and Chris Bowen are taking us on a pathway to higher energy prices, blackouts and emissions, quite frankly. Not a lot's happening there.
So are you urging Susan Lee to come up with a position on the 2035 climate target as soon as possible? Straight after the government comes up with their position?
I think that we will need to, but Susan is giving us the ability to work through that process. But I think the Australian people, once the government announces a 2035 target, which is literally going to raise the price of electricity in this country, of course we'll need to come to a position.
The troops are restless though, aren't they? That was apparent today.
You know, the wonderful thing about the Liberal Party and the National Party, unlike the Labor Party, is yes, we get to have discussions. And long may those discussions
Susan Lee didn't allow this discussion today.
I don't comment on what happens in the party room other than I'm delighted that Susan is allowing people to express an opinion. That is something that all Australians should value each and every day. In the Labor Party, be careful what you say. You might be kicked out.